Hey, everybody. I want to welcome you to the Wednesday, April the 9th edition of Speaker Co-working. I am Ron Story, and I am the head of speaker orientation, speaker foot massages, and other things at Speaker. I'm joined by Angela Lewis, who's head of operations. And this is our daily call where we help speakers from around the world to get booked on more stages so that they can better get paid from their products and services. So it's good to see everyone here. Yeah, it's good to see everybody. Let's start off with a few wins. I got a support email from Dacia, so we're going to help her get her account set up and get that done. And Darren, how was your trip, man? How was your speaking tour?
It was cool, man. It was very fun, exciting. I actually wanted to get some suggestions on a follow-up email from the event planner.
Okay.
If
Yeah.
I could now, if I could show you right quick.
Well, no, let's just do the wins first and we'll cover
All
that.
right.
Yep. Any other wins? But high five, man. Um, Sharon?
Yeah, for me, this week I had two podcasts. I had one yesterday, and I really liked the format of it. She did it on Riverside, and that was just a different experience, and I really did like it. And then I have another one scheduled for Friday.
Okay, all right. And was that one of the first podcasts you booked with us, or you've done other ones before prior to this with us?
No, yeah, I've done others before. This one should be my third, I believe. Yeah, this one is my third one.
Okay, all right. High five. That's a big jump. You
Hmm.
in February, you were like, I don't know. And then March, you already, you got started in March and you already get booked. That's a big deal. That's huge. That's progress. That's what we like. Any other wins? Any other updates on anything? No. All right. Cool. So, Darren, let's look over your email because I think this could be a teaching moment for everyone. And can you have Raymar blur out the event planner's name off the email? We wouldn't want to put that on YouTube. So go ahead, Darren. Darren, can you do me a favor before you share your screen? Is it possible you can screenshot the email without
Yeah,
the event plan
yeah. Just
stuff?
give me a second. I was about to do that. Give me a second.
Yeah, that makes it a lot easier, a lot more secure for us. Yep. And Dacia, did you receive an email from Raymar?
I did,
Okay.
and I'm gonna work on that this afternoon.
Okay. Yeah, there are two parts. One is for your speaker profile, and then the other one is for the SpeakerHub Pro where you can do the outbound pitching to start getting booked. So you're in the right place. Any other wins? Any other high fives? Anything else that we should be celebrating? Chantel, what happened? You done stopped. Chantel used to have like 95 podcasts a week. We ain't heard that from her in like the last 2 days.
Nah, I'm still here. Nah, I'm doing it. It's been really good. I was voted San Francisco's Business Person of the Year 2025. So I'm really excited about that. And within that coming, I probably booked like about 6 podcasts with that, a couple of TV shows, some magazines. I'm gonna be having lunch with the mayor, so that's really big.
Oh, how
I've
cool is
been
that?
having
Who's the recognition through? Who was it?
It's through
Alignable? I know there's
Alignable.
different.
It's through
Okay.
Alignable. Yeah, Alignable. And with that, I actually was busy voting for other people and I didn't even see it coming. So when they honored me, it was like I couldn't even believe it. So I'm still like basking within that. Very excited about that. I got some featured magazines that have been able to come out. So I've been doing really great with that. And I'm actually on the line right now, about to do something, a little blurb with a radio station. So yeah, can't stop, won't stop. That's
There it
it.
is.
Yeah.
There it is. That's incredible. No Diddy. But yeah, it can't
Yes.
stop, won't stop. But no, but what you brought up is really important because we had to make a little fundamental change. I had a conversation this morning with my business partner that we run the PR company with. And I showed him some of our graphics and he was like, "This wrong." I'm like, "Man, get out of here. This ain't wrong." He's like, "No, it's totally wrong." Like, he's like, "Things have changed." And I'm like, "All right." So we had this conversation. I'm going to share it with you guys today. One of the fundamental changes that, that's been updated in what we do here at SpeakerHub. So I'll share that with you guys later on today. Kathleen, what's going on? You muted. We can't hear you.
Yep. Hey, family.
There you go. Good to see you.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here. I am at work and it might get loud, so I'm gonna ask my question really quick, and if not, you can get back to me later. So I was checking out the forms that I received maybe 3-4 weeks ago. I downloaded the links. One was for the survey, and the other is for the referral. Is there any way, because it seems that I have to answer each question before I go to the next page in both cases. So I want to know, is there any way where I can like view the whole thing?
Well, that's just the way it looks for me. You're actually going to be doing that on your own. You got to make your own form so that you get
Right.
your responses. But whenever you go into Google, Darren, can you share your form really quickly? Darren did his all on one page inside of Google. Darren, can you share your form that he created? You'll see it in a second. It's really, the way he did it was really cool, where he just made it one long sheet for his one-to-ones. So
would I need to download it?
no, you created in Google. So let me share my screen with you here.
Okay.
1 second. And then we're gonna, all right. So in Google and you type in Google Forms, right?
Okay.
It's a Google, you see this here? It's a Google Doc and you can create your own form and you can put all the questions on one page, just like this.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Okay. So literally, so the link that I have, I'd have to go through the whole link and just.
Yeah, it's only 4 pages. It's only 12 questions, right? So you would just go through and put anything in there so that you can see the questions.
Is
right?
it both the survey and the referral or the lead?
Yep, it's all on there together. So 1 second here, I'll make it even easier for everyone. Let me just open this up and then I'm gonna do a select all. Yeah, you can go ahead and share. Go ahead. You'll see how Darren did his, which is pretty cool.
Can y'all see it?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, but you see how Darren's are all on one page, right? So let me make it even easier. I'm gonna just make a Google Doc with the questions on it, so then you don't have to go through that form anymore. You can just paste this. You can just copy the questions off of this page.
Okay, thank you.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, appreciate it.
Oh yeah, no problem. We'll get it ready for you.
Sorry, it's
All
getting
right.
loud. Okay,
Oh
thank
yeah,
you.
no problem. All right, bye-bye. All right, so yeah, but you see how Darren has his form where it's just on one page, and it makes it so much easier to for him to be able to just go down on one page and resolve all of that stuff. So that's what that's about. All right. So I'm going to I'm creating the Google Doc right now that will allow us to, where you can just get the questions and then we put the type of field it should be right next to it. All right, 1 second. But any other wins?
I'm sorry, I have
So
another question regarding that while I'm here and it's quiet.
Yep, go ahead.
So with the survey, so I'm just asking the questions. I'm not sending them anything except the final results, right?
Yep, you're not sending them anything until you've done the entire survey. When you meet with them, when you meet with them after you've done the whole survey and you got all the data, that's when you share with them the outcomes.
And
Does that make sense?
Yep. And so the referrals, because I'm a speaker, I'm a coach, right? So business
Yeah.
savvy, I do not have. So I'm looking at the questions that I could see, because I can only see, if I don't answer the questions, I can't go to the next page, right?
Yeah, but you
Right.
just go ahead and, well, I'm going to give you a solution to that in 2
Okay.
seconds. So that'll go
Okay.
away.
Okay. So here's my thing, because I'm sorry, I guess I'm an I just want to do it. And I know that's not helpful in this case. I just want to do it. I want to do like coaching and speaking. And so, I'm getting used to the idea of, I've got to be kind of business savvy. So some of the questions that are on the referral, not the survey, but the other form, I kind of like, I don't know, over my head.
Well, I don't know. I don't know which
But
questions you're referring to.
but
Can
not
you
so
share?
much the audience, but the income of the audience. I mean, how precise does that have to be?
Okay, so you're talking about the lead request form,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So if you don't have the answer to that, you can just put in a like not available,
Okay. Thank you
right?
so much.
Yep, that's on the lead request form. Put
Right,
not available, and then we won't even search for that. But some people say, I only want to work with businesses that are above this revenue line. But if you're
right,
trying to speak at universities, who knows what the university's revenue is? Or if you're trying to speak
right,
at churches, we don't know what the church's revenue is. But
right.
if I'm
Okay,
saying I'm working with lawyers who make at least $100,000, I need to know that.
okay. Thank you so much.
Yep. No, you're under. Let me make this very clear. Anybody that's on this call, the purpose of the call is to help you. So don't apologize for getting help. I think that that's one of the biggest issues as knowledge-based entrepreneurs. We're so used to being the smartest person in the room with our clients that we get a bit timid when we're around other people and we don't know the answer. Trust me, there's a lot of stuff I don't know the answer for, and I go ask the question, right? So you're in the right place. Don't ever feel ashamed for asking and getting help because, you know, closed wounds don't heal. So we got to be able to find out, hey, where do you need the help at so that someone on the call, I don't always have the answers, right? Like my form had pages, but Darren's was a straight page. So I went to Darren. I went to the person who had already done a straight page form and used his, right? I don't know jack crap about mind mapping. So anytime somebody asks about that, I'm going to John. I don't run operations for SpeakerHub. You got any operations questions? You should ask Angela. I don't know nothing about that, right? So we're gonna use this as a community of of geniuses in our area. Does that make sense? Because we don't know if somebody tell you they know everything, just go the other way, right? Because there's always a better suggestion. Jadika used to have suggestions on how she worked the mailbox that I never thought about, but it worked for other people, so I had her teach it, right? So let's make sure that everybody, if you're on this call, whether you're a part of SpeakerHub or not, we're not know-it-alls. We're here to help. So don't be ashamed to ask for the help you need because you're going to suffer in silence. Like that's ridiculous. This ain't the place for that. So Bonnie, what's up? Bonnie is our resident ski professional, equine doctor, anxiety avenger. She's the only person I know that can ride a horse with skis on, right?
I'm the head poop shoveler. That's what I am.
Hey, you can't take my job. Don't be trying to take my job.
The fabulous, amazing Chantel reminded me to share a win that I didn't share with you guys. The magazine that she was in this month, Force to be Reckoned With. I was also in that back in February. I put an article in there and I was really pleased to get that printed. And talking about the Google form, I had to wrangle around a little bit because I created a one-page too, like Darren. That was so much easier, but I didn't realize I had to publish it and send it to my email in order to edit it while I'm talking to people. So that was a key piece. I had
Yeah,
to
you're
publish
going to
it
fill
and
out
then
the form
edit it.
yourself.
Yes.
Does that make
And
sense?
that's how you have to do it. As far as I know, that's what I figured
Yep.
out to do with it.
Yep, exactly. That's why
Publish it and
you
send
have
it
to do it.
Yeah. And then I sent Angela a little note. I'm sure she'll get back to me. I had some issues with getting my QR code situation figured out. And I know this is not the solving problems time, but I could not put my YouTube video that was 30 seconds long into it. So I'm not sure if there's something.
Go ahead and share your screen. Let's try it.
Oh dear. All right,
This
go to
is
someone
easy
else
for-
and I'll come back. I got to bring it out.
Okay.
Thanks.
Cool. Any other questions? Any other wins? High five on that. You all set me up perfectly for what I want to talk about today, right?
Yeah.
Because everything that you all talked about is the mistake that we made. And you would think somebody like me who's watching all of the stuff would know better than this. But I'm going through and I'm talking with go ahead, Darren.
Hey, I wanted to see if you could help, if everybody could help me with moving on from the speaking of last week before you get going with your topic, or you want me to wait
Okay,
till
yeah,
later?
yeah. So go ahead and share that with me. Go ahead and share that screenshot, and then we'll go
All
through
right.
that. But this is a super duper exciting thing. All right. Good morning, Darren. Yep. Go ahead and zoom in just a little bit. There we go. Thanks for your kind words.
So, and I have two questions.
Yep. Okay. So what's your questions? And then I'll give you my opinions on this.
All right, so I followed up with her yesterday I'm not gonna wait till the summer, obviously, while the iron is hot, I'm gonna strike. So I said, hey, can we visit tomorrow or Monday? She told me we're scheduling a visit within the next 72 hours.
Yep.
So I can, talk to her about different things as far as before the summer and going into it, right?
Yep.
About coaching. And then my other question was, how do I use this?
Well, that wasn't a question.
How do I use I wrote it down. How do I use this to help with providing more services to the TRIO programs within the state and within the region? Because she's the director.
Yep. So I'll give you my suggestion. So is that your first question or your second one?
That's my first question.
Okay. So do you remember I gave you the list of the other trios?
Yep.
So what you're going to do is during that meeting, you just listen and say, hey, look, what are ideas that she has? And you just make notes of all of her ideas. Selling ain't telling. It's actually a lot of listening and understanding what their problems are. And then you don't even have to give them a solution in that meeting. You can say, okay, now that I better understand what y'all are trying to do, can I put together a program and email it to you or present it back to you over Zoom?
All right.
Right. So you don't have to. The one problem that I found is that, and I learned this as a financial advisor. I'm going to pull this down for a second. I learned this as a financial advisor, is that you don't have to have the answer in the meeting. Does that make sense? You can take time to think through it, because imagine if you took your car to the car shop and you went in and you said, well, my car is going ratter, tatter, thunder, bladder, boom, boom, boom. Right. And the guy's like, oh yeah, that's the alternator. He ain't looked at nothing. He ain't looked at nothing. He ain't popped the trunk. He ain't did nothing. You just got out the car and tossed him the keys. You told him no. He's like, yeah, I know what that is. You're like, wait a minute, hold on. You don't want to look at it? He's like, no, we already got it. It's going to be $3,000. You don't trust that person because they ain't even looked at it. It may just be a loose screw that they can fix. But if he diagnosed you too quick, the trust is gone.
All right.
Right? So as a financial advisor, when I used to hear people talk about what they were doing, I already knew what their issues were. I could look at them and see if they were overspending or if they had bad allocations of their investments. But we were advised, don't give them the answer right then and there. So what you do, you say, okay, let me put together a plan for you. Now your value goes up and they're like, okay, he's actually thinking through this for me, even though I already know the answer. He's thinking through this for me. He's going to kind of put together something custom for me and for what I'm trying to do. And then I can come back and present what we call on home court advantage. If you're asking the questions, you're in control of the meeting. So as long as the minute that they start asking questions, you lost control. Right? You're on defense at that point. So you want to maintain the control, learn as much. Again, I don't know, you weren't here yesterday, but what we talked about was that most advisors or most heads of companies, they've never been listened to. So she'll pull back this veil of the real problems and the real solution that they're trying to solve by bringing you in. That's where your win comes from, by better understanding why they're bringing you in, not what they want you to speak about. Let me say that again. By better understanding why they want to bring you in and what they're dealing with is more important than what you get to choose what you're going to speak about. You choose what topic you want to solve their problem. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So if someone comes to me and they say, man, I have a tight budget. I don't really understand how to make a landing page. I don't really understand what to do with Facebook ads. I've never run anything like that, right? I got a whole war chest of opportunities that they could use to generate leads that doesn't have them to know Facebook ads. They don't have to understand how to make video. They don't need a large budget. I can pull out those tools. Does that make sense?
Yes.
But if I pull them out too quickly and they're coming to me for coaching, then they'd be like, man, you must suggest this to everybody. No, I don't, right? But if I take a day and think about it, it becomes more custom. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So that's the first thing. In that meeting, listen. Just
Okay.
listen, right? And then at the end of it, you say, I'm going to put together something perfect for you guys. I just need, a couple hours to think through it to make sure that I'm solving the right problem. But I'm in. You just tell I'm in, but I just need to figure out how I'm going to help. Is that fair?
Gotcha. Yes.
And then you pull out that list of the other trios that are in Louisiana and Texas. Don't you leave that meeting without pulling that list out.
All right.
Because you want to get them introductions to the other ones. You
Gotcha.
don't need, we already proved that you don't need to have solved the problem, which you already have. You don't need to have solved the problem in order to get referrals. Right? So have you gotten referrals from her yet?
There were people in the room who wasn't in my session.
That's not a referral. Have you gotten referrals from her yet?
No.
Okay. Pull out that list. At the end of that meeting, you pull that list out. You say, look, I'm going to be contacting such and such over here. Here are the other trios I'm contacting. Do you mind if I tell them we're working with you?
I got you.
You're not asking for her permission to contact them. You're asking for her permission to let them know that you're working with her.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So go into the call and ask questions. So tell me what you're trying to accomplish. Well, we're trying to do this. Okay, here, I'll actually give you, I'll take a screenshot of this. I'm about to share it with you, okay? Hyman Miller, don't y'all call me about this. This is just hypothetical. I want to hear y'all talk about, well, I didn't share this. I can't control the screenshots he takes. Okay. All right. So let me share this with you. But if you want really great training, Hyman Miller has something called professional selling skills. One of the best trainings I've ever gone through. I did this training. It was 8 weeks. They've shortened it, but when I went through it, it was 8 weeks, 8 hours a day. So I spent 8 hours a day for 2 months in Grand Rapids learning these things that I'm going to share with you right now. Let me see if I can find it. Here we go. So it's called Professional Selling Skills, greatest training on sales ever, right? So here's how you would start that call. You want to role play it real quick, Darren?
Sure.
Hey, so Darren, I'm glad you sent me the email. I'm glad we're able to hop on this call. So you mentioned the summer event. Tell me what you're looking to do.
Well, hold on, Ron. You're the lady, or
I'm selling to you. I'm selling to you, so you'll see this. I'm you, you're her.
Okay. Hey, this summer, Ron, we're just looking to find different ways to continue to grow our students and our teachers.
Okay. And what are some of the things you already have on the agenda?
Well, we'll have different things throughout the week. Every week we'll focus on a certain theme.
Okay. What are some of those themes?
The first one could be, soft skills. We're trying to help our students be prepared for career in college, things of that nature.
Okay. And do you have any other ones or any particular ones you want to cover, but you haven't found a speaker for?
Just the soft skills and also the self-confidence of our students and our teachers to be able to relate to our students. So trust, soft skills, and self-confidence.
Okay. And if you brought in someone that was going to teach the trust and self-confidence skills, what would you want the outcome to be at the end of the camp?
That's a good question. I definitely would want to be able to see our students be able to have conversations with one another and with adults, so they can show us that they learn what they'll be using to go forward in life and in career, and also them being able to have a relationship with their educators and knowing them a little bit more, and also having the self-confidence to kind of just stand up in front of the room and talk about themselves and things like that.
Okay. And do you have the speaker already for that? Is that what you're looking for me for?
It's probably what we're looking for you for, from based off what we heard and the feedback from the conference.
Okay. All right. And so let me stop there because now I'm just going to close you. Right. So you notice how I started very broad. Tell me what you're trying to do at the conference. That's exploring the circumstances. Let them talk as broad as possible. They will bring up the pain. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And then we went to identifying opportunities. So what topics you trying to cover? You gave me some vague ones. I didn't get the answer I wanted. So I asked you the same question again in a different way. So, okay. So is that the only topic? No, I want this one, and this one. Okay. Now I got my opportunities there. Right. And you went in on the self-confidence and being able to talk to each other, something like that. Right. And then I said, well, okay, if you got someone to solve that, let's examine the effects. What does that look like at the end? So now we call that future pacing. I'm thinking I got to get her to experience it at the end. What does it look like? Yeah, because I wanted to be able to measure whether I did my job and I want to know what the expectations are. The last thing you want is what we call a covert contract, where one person had an idea of what it was supposed to be, but the other person didn't.
Okay.
Right? The best example of this, again, I always use dating. Everybody knows this. You go out on a date. This person wanted it to end this way. This person wanted it to end that way. That person upset because they didn't communicate up front that this is how they expected the date to end. Now we got two people that are never going to date again. That's what happens. You come in to speak. They had a certain outcome they were looking for. You didn't know what that outcome was. So you didn't build a program to drive towards that outcome. So they never bring you back. Does that make sense? So that's examine the effects of what they're hiring you for or the decision that they're making. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So once you talked about that, then I said, well, look, you already got the speakers for that, or is that what you're looking for me for? What did I just do? I confirmed the existence that they still needed me for that topic.
Mm-hmm.
Who talked the most?
I did.
Exactly. Right? Now, what did I get? I got all the information I need to make sure that I could actually solve their problem and that I had an opportunity.
Gotcha.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So I know that I've solved their problem because I'm closing on what they want. I'm not closing on what I wanted to bring to the table. My topic don't matter. It's me deciding if I can make a topic to solve the confidence problem, the leadership problem, the soft skills problem. Is this making sense?
Yes.
This is sales. There was a question last week on the list from Ange that says, how do you sell? You sell like this. You notice I can do this and I can bring in and I can do this for you. No. Just tell me what you want. Tell me what it should look like at the end. And then I can tell me if you need me to do it. And then I can decide if I can do it. You notice it wasn't, do you want a speaker to do this? Yes, no. No. Open probes is what we call that. It's open probing. Does this make sense?
Yep. Thank you.
Is this helpful?
Most definitely.
Okay. So as you know, as a sport, as an athlete, we play how we practice. So now it's your turn to do me.
Okay. Hey, Ron, man, appreciate the email. Definitely want to get you on a call. wanted to first find out what exactly are you looking for the summer programming with the students and educators in the email that you sent.
Oh yeah. No, I appreciate it, man. We really loved your speech last week, and we got so many comments. And one of our several people was like, "This is who we need for the summer. If he did this in 45 minutes, we could definitely have him come in this summer."
Okay, and I appreciate that. So look, there were a lot of responses, but what exactly are you looking for the programming?
Perfect. Now, you see that? You see how I gave him one of them BS answers that people give you, and he went right back. Perfect. That is perfect. You didn't get the answer you were looking for, right? I kind of gave you some BS flattery stuff, and you said, no. But what you trying to do? High freaking five,
Thanks.
right? So yeah, okay, my bad. I got a little lost. Man, I'm still kind of high off of what you brought to the table the other day. I want to let you know I appreciate it. But what we're looking for is more of that. Right? There were certain things that you talked about, the leadership, the soft skills, the confidence, especially coming from a male figure nowadays for our boys. That means a lot to what we're trying to do. Does that make sense? For our young men, we need them to see male examples. So there's a difference between confidence in different people, different lifestyles, different financial backgrounds, but you kind of are the one that we never have been able to find. So if we could come in and we could hear it from you, I could teach it myself, but it means something different coming from someone that looks like them. We deal with minority boys.
Okay. I appreciate that, giving me that information. So I want to make sure I heard you correctly. You said that you're looking for me to target the males in the program, the young males, and give them the things that you described as far as the self-confidence and communication skills and things like that.
Yep.
Okay. So after this is done, at the end of the summer program, how do we know if those young men were able to grow? What would that look like?
If they had like a 3-step system or something where they know if they're in a certain situation, they could follow this thing and it would get them out of it, or at least put them back into the mindset that they need to be in to make good decisions. We see a lot of kids get in a lot of trouble just by poor decision-making frameworks. So if you can give them a decision-making framework, because a lot of the stuff won't happen at the end of the camp, but we want to give them a tool that they can use when Darren Franklin ain't there screaming at them. Does that make sense?
I got you. So basically, and I want to make sure I'm hearing you right, you're looking for something tangible, not only for the present when they're under your leadership, but also when they leave you, and you guys kind of check in the fall on the weekends. Am I understanding that?
Yeah, we want tools they can use for the rest of their life.
Gotcha.
Right? They're going to be men for the rest of their lives.
Okay. Hey, quick question for you. Do you already have somebody in mind? You have a speaker in mind for this already?
That's what I mean, we didn't think about it in this detail, but we wanted to meet with you to see if you could do it, or if you know someone else that you could recommend if this isn't a topic that you can cover.
I'll tell you what, I'll be getting back to you. I'm definitely intrigued on working with you guys. And that sounds like that's kind of what I'm looking forward to, that 42 empowerment, being able to empower, especially males. So let's set a date for me to get back to you and confirm some more of the details, and then we'll go from there.
Well, hey, no, I got some other things too. Like there's some other topics we want to cover. I mean, that's one of them.
Talk to me. What other topics you have in mind?
Perfect. All right. That's what I wanted to make sure. Once you solve one, go back down. Go back down the steps and walk them back up. Because you may solve, okay, this solves it for the summer, but what about for the fall? And what about coming in to do this? And what about for the women and all these other things? You just solved one problem. You got one deal. Walk them back up them daggone steps.
All right.
Until they say, no, we ain't got nothing else. All right. You just keep walking them up the steps, and you keep building more and more opportunities for yourself.
Gotcha.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. So one thing I thought about at the end though, like, and it's kind of where definitely what one improvement on is like finishing that, but also like not walking away from it. Seem like I don't want the opportunity, but at the same time, I don't want to go into how much this going to cost me, this and that. So
yeah, you don't do that there. That's what I said. You take it and you come back when you put together something.
Gotcha.
Right. So you explore this at the end.
Can I interrupt? I had a question because I felt like that's
I
what
don't
he
know who
was.
talking.
It's
Okay,
Nikki. It's
Nicole.
Nicole.
Okay, yeah, I couldn't see. My bad.
Sorry. I felt like that when he said, well, can I schedule a time and I can get back with you? For me, and I put it in the chat. No, that's when you be like, well, look no further because I got you. I'll set up a time to show you what I've crafted or customized for you to make sure that it's, it completely meets everything that you just explained to me, and then walk back up the ladder. But when he said, I'll let me get back to you, for me, listening to the call, I'm like, he sound like he don't want it or he's not confident
Yep.
in the fact that he can deliver to us.
Exactly. Yeah, he was bailing at that point. He thought the call was over, but that's why I was saying, no, we want some other stuff from you if you got it, right? So that, Nicole, you're right on point with that. What he needs to do is to make sure that he's covered all of their pains before he closes the deal. Right? So we
just
call
don't want
that
him
the
to sound
parking.
unconfident. Because if they see that, I'm like, well, maybe we got it wrong and you're not the best person for this.
Yeah, I think you hit it right on the head. I don't disagree with you. I think he may have been cutting it because of the role play.
Got you.
Right? So here's what I'll say. When you get that one thing, you say, yes, I can help you with that. Before I give you the solution on that point, is there any other things you wanted to have covered besides this? And then that's when you walk back up the steps again. We call that the parking lot. You put the deal over in the parking lot that you know you got closed. Right? And then at the end, you walk them through the next steps, as Nicole is saying. I definitely can help you with this. You mentioned the second thing. That's really not my area. But I want to put together a game plan for this first one because I can knock that out of the park. Right? Are there any, and then this is closing, and we'll go through this on another call. Is there anyone else who needs to make the final decision on this? Because you want those decision makers in that last call with you. You don't want someone else having to sell you to the decision maker. You want to invite that decision maker to the call. So here's what I'll do. Tomorrow, we'll do a whole thing on selling because that's not the topic I want to cover today, but that should get you through part of that call. Does that make sense? Just that question framework is enough to at least put you on the right, where you're not on defense.
Yeah, thank you.
How did you feel about going to Nicole? High five on the coaching.
Yeah,
That was
thank you, Nicole.
definitely the right thing. How did you feel about the questions and going through that process?
Oh yeah, it definitely is something that I've began to transform as far as being able to listen, and then now using that as more of a framework that I don't have to be all over the place. I can kind of pull from there and go from there.
So what I want to teach really quickly, and then I'll get into my topic for the day, it's not going to take that long, is I want to walk through what we call the open or the approach. How do you open the meeting? Because the opening of the meeting is the most important part of the meeting, right? The opening of the meeting is more important than anything else. It is the most important part of the meeting. So I want to walk you through that really quickly on how do you open up that call so that the person is like, okay, I know exactly what I should expect when I'm on the call with that person. Does that make sense? So again, you should go get PSS, but this is what you need to do at the beginning before you even hop on the call. What's my objective? Right? If they say they don't want that, what's my backup objective? Right? What's the mutually beneficial agenda that we can accomplish today? And what might they want to accomplish by meeting with me? Now, you don't share this with them. This is just you getting in the right frame of thinking about how you can serve them versus pitching your product. Does this make sense? So, well, what's the objective of that call? Well, to find out if we can work together this summer, right? What's the backup objective? Even if I can't work with them this summer, I'm not the right person. Can I come back and speak in the fall? Does that make sense? What's a mutually beneficial agenda? Hey, Darren, I wanted to hop on a call today. I got your email. This is great. What I want to do is to learn more about what your plans are for the summer and what you all are trying to accomplish. And then I'll be able to let you know if I'm the right person. And at the end of the meeting, we'll decide what the next steps are if we're going to work together. That's the open. So now they know you're going to ask them some questions. You're going to be able to decide if you're the right person. And then you all will decide together what to do next. Make sense? So is that what they want to accomplish? To me, yes. They want to be able to know if you can be that speaker for them. So that's what I would understand beforehand. And what's the value of meeting together? Maybe we can do this deal or 5 other deals down the road, but I need to answer these before I get on that call. Is this making sense there? That way you're never caught by surprise, right? So if you're not a fit for the summer thing, what's your pivot? Well, can I come in the fall? Can I do this, what I just did that y'all liked? Can I do that in the fall, even though the thing y'all trying to do in the summer, we got a scheduling conflict. I want to do it, but I'm gonna be on vacation with my family. You see what I mean? Because it's not always a topic conflict. It could just be a scheduling thing. But you got to know these 5 things before you go to the meeting. Right? I'm not saying y'all should screenshot this, but you might want to. Okay? For copyright reasons, I can't give you this, but I can't tell you what to do on your computer. Right? So, I'm trying to find so this is the ladder, but you see how we go up and then we go to number 2 and then we go to number 3 and then we go to, and you just keep doing it until they're like, no, I think that covers everything. You don't close until you've got everything on the parking lot. Got it? Any other questions about this? Was this helpful? Now, let me show you the cool thing. That's what's on the survey. Exploring the customer circumstances is that first question is wide open. Let them talk about whatever they want to talk about. And then we say, what you need coaching for? We identifying opportunities. Right? That's the next section of that. We were identifying opportunities. And then we say, well, if you had a coach, what would it be like? Or if you had someone that solved this, how would that be? Well, man, I would accomplish this in this many days, blah, blah, blah. Cool. We're examining the effects. Does that make sense? And then at the end, we say, well, is this something you want to solve if I were to solve this? Confirming the existence of an actual need. That's what the survey does. So the system that we're giving you is proven. Hyman Miller and Achieve Global are the world class. They train everybody in the Fortune 5000. Right? They're the #1 training company in the world for sales. So when you start seeing, you say, oh man, I recognize it. I've been done like this before. They sold me this. I bought my VCR going down this same path. Yep, you did. Right? Man, my dentist sold me new teeth doing the same thing. Yep, he did. Right? VCR, exactly. Yeah, I mean, this was created by IBM. This sales process was created by IBM in the 60s, and then they spun it off as their own sales division. Right? Back in the 70s. But you can go and PSS is legendary. So just know that that's a big deal. Any questions about this before we move on? Any questions about what just happened with Darren before we go on? No? All right. Anything else? Any questions for me? Look at this. Look how old this is. This old PSS sales manual. This is the original ones. This the one. This ain't from the 90s. I promise you. This is where all of this comes from.
I did have 2 questions, Ron, but if you
Right.
want to wait till another day,
No, we're good. I mean, unless somebody else got a question about it. Has this been helpful? Okay, so go ahead and ask the follow-up since we're on this topic.
So the other question was, all right, how do I use that, Ron, that experience with Trio, right, to help to position myself and offer my services to school leaders for next fall for professional development? Because that was educators who I was talking to at that Trio conference.
Yep. So did you use your speaker QR?
I used Talkadot more than my
Okay,
SpeakerQL.
right.
In
And
person,
so
I use Talkadot.
you got Talkadot. Perfect. Same thing.
Yeah.
Great. I love what Aurel's doing over at Talkadot, right? So you have leads. Did you get some leads from that?
Yeah, I got plenty of leads. Yes, 20. So everybody in the room filled out the thing. Yes.
Yep. So you know, it's one of the questions on the Talkadot thing is, are you interested in bringing Darren to come in and talk at your school, or do you know someone else that Darren can go talk at? Right.
Right.
Those
Yep.
are the two
Mhm.
things we call them: referral leads or ready leads. That's what Aurel used to call them, I think.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
So you follow up with those and you say,
Yep.
hey, thanks for bringing me in, or thanks for your review at the Trio conference. When is a good time to talk about me coming to speak at your school?
Gotcha. Yeah,
Is it
and that's
direct?
what I wanted to make sure. Yep.
Yeah, it's direct, man. Ain't no need to beating around the bush. You ain't got look. They checked that box on that thing that says I want him to call me. Does that
So
make sense?
yeah, and that's what I was asking. That's kind of like that warm lead because they were already in the room. But
Yep.
how do I use that experience also for cold leads of people in the same profession? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I just gave you the way to do that with
All
the
right.
list. When you meet with the warm lead person,
Yeah.
that's from a school. Go online and find the schools in that area and say, I'm going to be calling such and such school this week. Do you mind if I tell them I met with you? And they'll say,
Gotcha.
no, tell Angela, yeah, Ange knows me.
That makes a lot of sense. Yep. Because it
Right?
was from all over the state. All right.
Yeah. So you just look in a city, go into Google and look in a city and find the schools in that area. Say, I'm gonna be calling these schools. Do you mind if I tell them I'm working with y'all? They're gonna and they're gonna be like, no, you can tell them. And then you say, is there a particular contact person you would reach out to if you were me? And
Gotcha.
they'll say, yeah, the curriculum director over there is Kathleen Coleman. Cool. You hit up Kathleen.
Cool.
Does that
Thank
make
you.
sense?
Yep.
Now I'm gonna give you the extra dope hack. If you're gonna be in those cities or if you're anywhere near those cities, stop by the school.
Yeah, I do that when I go home all the time.
Okay, I'm just letting you know. Stop by the
Yeah.
school. Stop by. Stop by. Right? Any other questions? Was this helpful? This is we didn't want to talk about, we didn't have it planned to talk about sales, but I'm okay talking about sales because that's the only way that's how money moves, right? Ideas get sold. Any other questions? Thanks for the feedback and comments. Any other questions or comments about this? All right, perfect. We're gonna cover two things today. One deals with this. All right, what is this? Anybody know? My daughter saw this. She says, "Me, my favorite fruit, kiwi." And then she went in the other room and told her mama to order some kiwis to have them delivered off of Uber Eats. Right?
That looks like what I'm eating right now.
Oh, there it is. There it is. I got Jasmine's lunch.
Yep, that's my fruit.
Right.
Love
So
my
in
fruits.
a category altogether, these are called what? Fruit.
In the category of what?
The category, if you had to put the things in this bowl in one category, what would we call it? Fruit.
Fruit.
Right?
Yeah.
Do they all taste the same?
Absolutely not.
Right? So when we put all of us in a room like this, we're all speakers, but we all don't speak on the same topics. We all don't have the same level of experience. Some of us are sweeter than others. Some of them are bitter like me, right? We all got our own characteristics. Some of them are round. Some of them are sliced. Some of them are sliced and sliced in half. Some of them, like the strawberries, are sliced in half and sliced in quarters. Some of them are diced, like the pineapples. Even the grapes got sliced. Some of them are whole, like the berries and the oranges. But they're all still considered fruit. There's a question that we get all the time. How many pitches does it take to get booked for a certain thing? Every speaker will be different. Even though you're all speakers, there's no universal answer. Because if I said, well, what does a fruit taste like? And I gave someone a blueberry, and then I gave another person a strawberry, and I gave another person a slice of banana, they all gonna describe the taste differently because even though they're all fruits, they're not the same. So Darren's topic is going to take different number of pitches than Jasmine's. Jasmine's is going to take a different number of pitches than mine. Kathleen is going to be different than Nicole, even though we're all speakers. So here's the key. Find your number. Find the number that works for Bonnie. Find the number that works for Kathleen. There is no universal number. How many of you all are average speakers? So why y'all keep being worried about the averages? Y'all not average speakers, but y'all want to know what average people are doing. Get over it. Find your number. Why? Because you're going to get better over time. I promise you that Bonnie's pitches today are probably doing better than what they were doing a month ago. Jasmine's pitches today are doing better than her pitches in December. Jadika's pitches today. Why? Because Jadika figured out the podcast you don't need to go on. I don't like them. So she done X'd out half of the database because she like they don't fit. Does that make sense? So can we put that question? I know we're going to bring it up because we get new people in all the time. But one of the big things we're trying to do is to get rid of well, what's the average? The average is whatever number you figure out for yourself. Pitch more. We have a money back guarantee that if you pitch for 3 months and you get nothing, I will just give you a refund. But in 3 months, if you send the pitches, you'll find your number. Got it? So we got a guest here I never met before, David Gutman. We didn't let you introduce yourself. Sorry for keeping you on the outside, but we're glad you're here. If you want to introduce yourself and tell us what you do, that would be great. Welcome to Speaker Co-working by SpeakerHub. David, you there? Okay, when you're ready, let us know. We'll let you introduce yourself. Go ahead, Bonnie.
Is this a good time to look at my speaker QR question, or should we save it for
let's go
later?
ahead and do it. Yeah, let's go ahead and do it. My topic's gonna be quick because I'm gonna show y'all some results. Fast results beat long explanations. So
Okay.
I'm gonna give y'all a fast result and we're gonna move on. Go ahead.
All right. So let's see what I got here. Okay, so I might have made an error. It said on the speaker page 32nd. I realized I thought this was 30 seconds exactly. It's 35.
It can be as long as we don't monitor the time, but
that doesn't matter. Okay. So I took this YouTube link and
no, not that one at the top. 1 second. Hold on. Let me help you. So go ahead and open up your speaker QR. Okay, estoy en una cita. Okay. All right, and then scroll down. Right, and okay, you see that thing that says live? That's a live video. You see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So go back to your video thing over there. Right. So I don't know. This seems like a YouTube live link. You just need a regular YouTube video. So go ahead and save this and go back to go to your content where it says channel content on the left. Right. And go ahead and click on that and open it up. No. Like go to your actual channel though.
Sorry. Here?
So, well, whatever your YouTube channel is, you're still in the YouTube studio. You see it says studio at the top instead of YouTube?
Oh, shoot. All right. I'm sorry to waste time. I'm not an expert at YouTube.
No.
Go to your channel.
Other folks are going to learn from this too. Yep. Go to your actual channel. So, yep, your channel. All right. And go to videos. Right. And is that video in here anywhere?
No, I could only find it when I went to manage videos and went under live.
So it's not made public yet. So, because it's not, right?
It's private.
So you see it's private. So it can't pull it if it's private.
Okay. I thought through our link thing.
You
It
can
was
make it
would do
unlisted,
that.
but you can't make it private. You can make it unlisted so that it doesn't show in the listings. But if it's private, only you can see it.
Okay, so unlisted is probably a good idea because this is just a thank you to the people, right? Who,
Yeah, that's fine. Just hit save. Let's just solve the issue first.
yeah, thanks. Okay.
Right. Okay.
Hold on.
So change it to unlisted and hit save down at
Unlisted.
the bottom. Perfect. Now click on that link. Right? No. Go back to your channel. And you see there's a link that says unlisted. You see the link right there in the middle? Yep,
Yeah.
click on there and it should give you a link so that you can share it. All right. Actually, click on the 3 dots there and you see shareable link.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And all
Okay.
right, now go up to the top and paste that in. And paste that
Go
in
here?
and that live should go away. Yep. Paste it in the spot where you have the invalid YouTube link. There it is. Right. But no, it's still like it's going to do the same thing. That live thing is the problem. So you may have to download that and just re-upload it as a regular YouTube video. Let me show you an example. Just click on YouTube really quickly. Any YouTube, it doesn't matter. Don't go to your channel. Go back to your actual videos in your channel. Yep. And just click on your videos and pick the Big Elk Meadows. Right? Now give me the share link off of there. You see where it says share?
Nope, lost it.
Right underneath the video, there's the 2 blue buttons, and then there's the
Oh,
thumbs
okay.
up and the share.
I had to scroll down.
Yep. And go ahead and copy that. And go back to your SpeakerHub Pro. And go ahead and put that in there. Yep, erase all that stuff out. And yeah, you got to erase it all out. Hit right click and hit select all and erase.
Yes.
Yeah, because you still had some remnants of the previous link in there. You see how all that stuff, you
Oh,
got to get
yeah.
all that out of it. And then now paste it back in. Perfect. Now it works. Now hit save. Scroll
Yeah.
down at the bottom.
Oh, why can't I see save? That's weird.
All right, go back up to the top. Oh, you don't have the name of the event in there. You see
Oh,
how,
and that was another question. So if this is going out to like different podcasts, is this one QR? Why would I put an event name? Because they could be different.
why wouldn't you make a different one for each podcast? What would you rather have? Hey, thanks for hearing me on a podcast. Or hey, thanks for hearing me on the Kathleen Coleman show. I appreciate your feedback. We don't limit
so
the
we
number of QRs you can make. You want to be able to
Okay, so-
track which podcast are you effective on. If I go on Darren's podcast and I got 0 leads, but I went on Jasmine's podcast and I got 10, I'm like, yo, I need to do more like Jasmine.
Got it. So it is for each individual one, and you make that individually clear, and
I
you
mean,
thank
that's
them.
what I would do.
I
That's
do
what
that
I
as
would do because I
well.
want to track individually so that I can know where I'm winning and where I was terrible at.
Yes.
Okay.
I do individual ones too.
Okay, thanks, Jasmine.
Yeah.
So the event name is the podcast name, and the QR code name is what?
Whatever you want to call it. It's up to you. We give you that description. So you can make QR code name, podcast June 21st, event name, such and such. It can be whatever you want.
Okay.
We give you that option to put them in whatever orders you want.
Okay,
There's
so
no
I can
right
just
or
put
wrong.
things
There's no
I
rules. It's all editable. There's no wrong answers. Just
Got
always
it.
remember that. Let me make sure. There's no wrong answers, guys. Here's my challenge to everyone, because I think this is solved. Hey, look, try to break it. Try to break it. Okay? Because if you have the freedom that the goal is to try to break the damn thing, you get rid of trying to be perfect. Everybody's trying to do it perfect the right time. And you're over there like this. Break the damn thing. We'll fix it. Right? But we got to get over this perfect stuff. Well, I put the wrong dash. Who cares? Break it.
Okay.
Right?
Well,
No,
now I know
I'm
it's
joking with you, Bonnie, but you get what I'm saying. Because
I
everybody,
totally hear
"Well,
you.
I don't want to put the wrong thing. Because if I put the wrong thing, they're going to think I'm an idiot. No. They already think you're a genius. They heard you on the podcast. If they went to leave you a review, they cared about what you were talking about.
Yeah.
Right? So let's get out of our own way and just break it. And if you break it, guess what we do? We come on here and we fix it. We get
You fixed
Miguel
it.
and
So
Ezekiel to fix it, but try to break
and
it.
don't make it live. Thanks. Don't make it
Yeah, as
live.
long as it's not a live video, right?
All
Lives don't
right.
work.
Thank you.
Got
Thank
it?
you for
Cool.
that.
Perfect. Now, so we covered one of my topics, which was the fruit salad. Ain't no perfect number of pitches to send. Send enough so that we can find out what Jasmine's number is. We can find out what Darren's number is. We're not average speakers, so let's stop focusing on averages. It's the first part. Now, let me go over to my next thing. So, this is how we've taught this for the last 2 years since we've been doing the speaker flywheel. We've been teaching a partially flawed system. We had the orders wrong, right? So a lot of you all know our speaker flywheel from our homepage, right? So we always talk about you want to use podcasts and then associations and conferences and then media outlets. But we had this wrong. And I had proof and it was right in my face and I didn't see it. So this is a great example of get started and then we can fix it. So we got started teaching this, and when we got new information, we are going to update it. Does that make sense? That's a sign of intelligence. When you're presented with better facts and better data, change. Don't keep teaching the wrong thing. Got it? So was what we were teaching devastating? Not at all. It just wasn't properly leveraged. So I talked to my business partner, Kamanzi, and we run another company. I run 3 software companies. One is called PR Pitches, but Kamanzi is the face of this because he knows PR. Kamanzi has been, I mean, he's Googleable. Like, I mean, you put him in, they automatically just bring him up. This dude right here runs PR Pitches for us. He writes for everybody. Just this month alone, he's probably been published 30 times. Business Insider, Success Magazine, the Today Show, AOL, he writes for everybody. Well, this is the CEO of PR Pitches, the other company that I'm a partner in.
He's whooping my butt.
Huh?
He's whooping my butt over there.
Perfect. Perfect. That is the purpose of the group. That it's working. That means it's working. So what he showed me today is I showed him our new stuff. And I said, dude, this is what we're teaching, this amplifier thing. And he's like, oh yeah, this is wrong. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? He was like, well, press isn't the last thing. Press is the leverage that gets you the conferences. He's like, if you tell him you're a writer for this, he's like, I get all of my speaking gigs because I tell people I'm a writer for Success Magazine. I tell them I write for Wall Street Journal. When they find out I write for Forbes and Fortune, they're easily considering me over everyone else because I already have the press credentials. He's like, I can get any conference in the world because I just show them I write for all 80 of these magazines and they're in. He's like, change that, like change it now. And I'm like, okay, cool. I'm coachable. He says it should be one-to-one podcast, associations, press, and then conferences, right? So that's a fundamental change we're going to make. Why? Because you get paid for doing this. He ain't writing these articles for free. It's anywhere from $1 to $2 a word for these articles.
Yeah.
So we're like, oh, wait, this fits perfectly. It makes a lot more sense now because now while they're on the podcast, they're going to be selling their products. While they're doing the associations, they're getting consulting. But even while they're writing, they're continually getting paid from the articles that they're putting out, reinforcing their thought leadership and setting them apart from everybody else in their industry. I'm going to show you a great example of this. One of my good friends, his name is Marvin Mitchell. And I didn't understand this back in the past. That ain't him. That's somebody else, right? So I didn't understand this in the past, but Marvin, ever since I've known him, even when he had hair, he ain't even got no hair no more. You can see these are old. Like Marvin back in the past was always in magazines. He would go, he want to be on the news. He want to be in magazines. He want to be in everything. I'm like, dude, what are you doing all this for? Just do more of this. He was like, no. This is important. I know the other financial advisors aren't on television. I know they're not in magazines. I know they're not on the radio. So this sets me apart because I got a radio show, because I do write for this magazine. I'm on the news every day at 12 o'clock. And I didn't get it. And over time, as I watched him pass all the other advisors that was on his same level doing the same thing, the key difference was that he was in the press, and it made people trust him because, well, he was on channel 2, so he must be okay. He was on channel 4, so it must be okay. He wrote 4 books, so it must be okay. And I learned the power of learning to leverage. I still, in my stupid brain, put it out of order, even though I can look at my clients and say, yeah, this is one of my guys who I know has been doing this, right? And he would pay for what you call them, advertorials. He would pay to write an article in the magazine that looked like an article, but it was really an advertisement for his thing. But they would call it advertorial, I think, in magazines. So just showing you examples of people who've lived this. Now, we got a real example up to date that wasn't just from then. This is from our private group that we use for PR. And look at what just happened. This young lady just got booked for a SHRM conference, right? But guess what she does? If you check her out, she is a killer for Forbes, right? But we helped her with Forbes, Topsy, Forbes, right? Topsy Vanderbosch, Forbes. She's writing all the time for Forbes. This comes from PR pitches. She used our software. You got the same stuff in SpeakerHub. Let me go ahead and fix that. If you're using SpeakerHub Pro, you got the same media outlets. PR pitches don't have speaking gigs. It's just media, but it's the same data set here. So we're going to be making that fundamental change in how we teach around this, meaning that we want you doing one-to-one podcasts, associations, press, and then conferences. It makes it so much easier to get the bigger associations and the larger conferences if you have the press credentials. Huge change. My bad, but I'm smart enough to fix it. Got
I agree.
it? Any questions or comments on that?
Yeah. And that's perfect. It just ties together. But I'm smiling because commands with me is like, when you used to say to Bonnie, what are you waiting for? Just pitch, and I'm saying, until you get things set up. Well, commands is saying, you haven't finished that yet? You haven't done that yet? You haven't done. And I'm saying, listen, I'm here pitching, when I do it is a rollout. So I'm smiling. That's why I say he's,
Yeah, Kamanzi and I are just alike. If we weren't,
Yes.
we wouldn't get along. Because he would hate me but he runs PR pitches himself. I'm not involved in it very much. He does all the stuff. It's a great business, but it's just focused on getting writers published. Yeah, I mean, we want you to win. And I have a saying that says procrastination is taking it for granted that God gonna give you time to do something tomorrow that he gave you time to do today, right? And it's really, really, really important that we think about it from that perspective. And, we can't take for granted that we're going to have the time to do it down the road when he's already given us the time to do it now, right? So pitch more, right? It's a rollout, but be pitching while you're rolling it out. You can do both. You can do both.
That is exactly
any questions
what I'm
or
doing.
comments?
I'm pitching, I have these podcasts that we're on. I mean, that's the ones I've done. They're keeping me busy because there are 4 magazines that request me write an article. One is, I have to finish by May 1st for the article in August. And, another one I'm meeting with. So this what I'm trying to say to everyone, being here, being on the call, doing your pitches, it's working into different things where you have a layered approach out there of different things. And now all of a sudden, a human resources organization reached out to me, and I didn't know it was from SpeakerHub. I didn't reach out, they reached out to me.
Yep. That's one of the big things. Here's something that we're doing. Anybody who is in SpeakerHub with a trial account in SpeakerHub Pro, if you tried it in the past and any of that, you will be disactivated. Like we're going through that process now of deactivating anybody who's tried and not subscribed. The reason being is that we got 44,000 conferences. I only want our SpeakerHub Pro people to even see those conferences. So if we end up with 500 people that are just available to pitch 44,000 conferences, how cool is that? If we end up with only 1,000 speakers that are pitching 290,000 associations, how cool is that? You got a monopoly. Do you see what I mean? Like, if we can limit that to just the winners, it's so much more opportunity because nobody else has access to this data. Right? It's a big opportunity, guys. So high five for the exclusivity and trusting us, but we are gonna get rid of all the triers. We want doers, right? Any other questions? We're 13 minutes into overtime. I don't know if my meeting is gonna show up, but if they do in the next 2 minutes, we'll hop off. If they don't, we'll keep going. David, you there? You want to introduce yourself? David Gutman. Let's try again. Trying for a second time to get David Gutman to say hello. But any other questions or comments? Is this helpful? Was the sales training helpful today, along with walking through how, you know, we're gonna fix this process that we're going through? One of the great things about us is that we're building this in front of you, right? So players mess up too, right? So you know, y'all be out here trying to be perfect. We ain't perfect. We fixing this thing, man. We're gonna take this thing to the moon, right? With y'all in the back seat. And don't be afraid to launch your own things imperfectly, because that's what we did, right? Our flywheel is just getting better. It's never perfect. Remember, when Jadika first saw the flywheel back in July, the flywheel wasn't as fancy as what you all just saw there. It was this old crappy thing. Let me go on back to it. Let me remind y'all, allow me to reintroduce myself to the original speaker flywheel that looked like this. You know, how it started, how it's going. Y'all seen them photos on Instagram, right? This is where it started. Totally different and more mature now with this. And we're still perfecting this. So we're going to get better, guys. We are committed to learning new techniques, but helping you to be better leveraged. Anything else before we call it a quit? No? Cool.
Let me ask one question. And I know you've covered it in the past, and I know I have a way of addressing your sales. For instance, you know, I don't ask, for instance, when I'm doing my email, I don't say, are you looking for speakers? I don't give someone an opportunity to say yes or no. You know, so I rephrase it so that it stirs up a conversation. But when someone reaches out to you for paid events, and I think you were doing something earlier on regarding that, you know, I believe in what I bring, and I believe that I want to aspire to higher. If I box myself in a certain price range, it doesn't make me happy because I'm always going to exceed what someone expects of me.
Mhm.
Do you give a range? Or would you give a range of, because you're saying some speakers, this is the minimum they make, right? I won't ever want to say I want to make a minimum of whatever. I understand the process for workshops and all that. Nobody's going to give me $1,000 for a half-a-day workshop. Some might not. But what I would do, I would build in other stuff to make it $1,000 workshop.
Why wouldn't they give you
saying?
$1,000? So
Pardon me?
here's the thing. Ask them, hey, what's your budget for this project? And let them
That's
tell
what,
you.
yeah, that's what I did.
Just-
Yeah, I did that.
Again, here's the one fundamental in anything you're selling, guys.
Yeah.
The person who asked the question is in control. Y'all got kids? When your kids start asking you a bunch of questions, what you say? Who you think you're talking to? You ain't my boss. Why you asking me so many questions? Just do what I told you to do, right? Because why? Mama, but why this? Daddy, but this, but why you do that? And why we can't have this? Like, you ain't in control, bro. So quit asking me questions. We know that with our kids. We tell them, hey, you ain't in control. Don't be asking me these questions. You don't have the right to question me, which means that the person asking the questions is in control of the conversation. The person answering is on defense. put them on defense.
Exactly. That's what I did. That's what I did. And you know, I've built out big packages. I don't want to set up my former life where I was making big, asking for large sums of money for that. It's different from here. So I'm adjusting now to this field where I'm not going to be asking somebody for $100,000 for whatever. That's what big money we were asking for certain things, right? Somebody wants to be, for instance, in the VIP section of a fight, and I build out the VIP section for the fight. You're going to, do you want dinner? Do you want to be in certain lounge? Do you want to be that? So it's going to be a $50,000 night for you for a heavyweight boxing champ. So I'm used to the big money. So now I'm curtailing it where I'm saying, and I did say that, what is your budget? And they gave me their budget.
Just ask what the budget is. And then, if they say that their budget is beneath what you would want, you say, look, usually I'm looking for $8,000, but I know your budget is $3,000. Let's talk about how we can meet somewhere in the middle.
Exactly.
Or, figure something out. But it's up to you. I mean, but you ask the question first.
Thank you. Yeah.
Like whenever I used to do job interviews, I would always say, what's the salary range for this position? Before they ask me, what's your ideal salary? Nope, you ain't about to get me. Nope. When I interview people for SpeakerHub, first thing I ask, what you want to get paid? First question. They'd be like, huh? Already? Yep. I'm about to beat you to that before you ask me what I'm paying. Hey, I'm Ron. Yep. What you want to be paid? I want to know. So they can't hijack me. Any other questions before we hop off? Nope. Cool. Well, good to see everybody. I will see you all tomorrow. My call to action today is pitch more. Get started with the imperfect product. The iPhone 16 exists because the iPhone 13 had problems, right? The iPhone 13 exists because the iPhone 2 was trash, right? And the iPhone 19 will come out because the iPhone 16 only had 6 cameras. It didn't have 9 cameras, right? Make sense? Mm-hmm. Any other questions? All right. See y'all later. Get started imperfectly.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.